Hey guys, so I know I just did the draft video, but I want to talk about Cooper Flagg some more because his growth as a creator through 20 something games of his career, it's pretty incredible stuff, man. I mean, I remember in the summer league, my takeaway with him was that he could clearly put the ball on the floor, but asking him to create something out of nothing at the top of the key was like a little too much for him at that time. Like I remember some possessions where he was having a tough time getting by. I think it was Darius Baisley, summer league, right? But he was still finding times to get to the paint and, obviously making the two-way impact that he does. And then we had the first something games of this season where it was clear of, hey, playing him as a point guard is just not the correct thing. And now we're at the point where, look, you sprinkle in some Ryan Nembhard, some Brandon Williams minutes. I think for all the talk we've had about Anthony Davis and trading him and all that, his presence certainly doesn't hurt Cooper Flagg. I mean, for the season, those two have a negative net rating together, but lately, like, those two have been a positive on the court together. They just had this tough win versus the Pistons where, I mean, it's somewhere in this video where he takes Isaiah Stewart, Cooper does, off the dribble for like a huge pull-up two there late, or like two baskets there late. In the recent Jazz game, Cooper was targeting Keontae a lot, and I mean, the clips you're seeing here are all mostly him, like, putting moves together, keeping the ball low, and just progressing on things at a really fast rate compared to the first something games of the season where it wasn't as if he couldn't put the ball on the floor. Of course he could, but with how it's looking now for him as a creator, I mean, my goodness. And so I've found myself just thinking about how Dallas builds the team around Cooper over the next 10 plus years, right? Now, again, it's a little tricky because of their draft pick situation. Everybody knows that. We'll talk about that in a second some more, but I continue to be kind of blown away with the positive minutes for basically the whole season of the Cooper Brandon Williams lineups. And Brandon Williams is averaging like 10 and 4 on not good efficiency. I mean, he has a 49 true shooting, and yet on a team that's 7 games below 500, he's a positive with the guy who matters the most. That could just be a very early screenshot of if Cooper is able to get a lead ball handling running mate at his age at some point here. I mean, who knows what the ceiling is? And of course, you can imagine it with Kyrie right now whenever he comes back. The other thing with Cooper, too, as I try to imagine the ideal team around him, while, of course, you're going to have to follow the conventional rules of building an NBA team around a great player. Like, you're going to need a second all-star, you're going to need spacing and defenders and depth. You need all that. But with how good Cooper already is defensively, he can switch, he can be a help defender, weak side, protecting the basket, all that stuff. You could just make, like, a really elite defense around him. Now, you can still do that with guys who are not defenders, but I don't know, it's cool when your best player is good on defense. Don't have all their picks. The Luka trade's been done to death. This is the 1 year they control their pick for a while, and I mean, I've already said it, as many have said it, you trade AD, you see what picks you can get, and then give yourself a better chance at a rebuild. Well, if the return for AD is going to suck, and we don't know if it's going to suck, but if it would, and then you have a good amount of teams that are just decently worse than you who also want to lose games themselves if you decided you wanted to go that route, I mean, how much of a better pick would you truly be giving yourself? Again, a lot of this comes down to what the AD return would be. But if you end up in a position of, you know what, let's just try to have the best situation we can have on the court for Cooper Flagg right now, because we don't really have an alternative to maximize our draft picks to improve our rebuild over the next whatever seasons, maybe we just kind of let the chips fall where they may with this year's draft pick. And then, I mean, if they got to pull off a stealth tank in the last 15 games, like, you can do that. Nobody's going to care. But if the AD return is good, then yeah, you do it. Anyway, that's about all I got. Look, the Luka trade is going to loom over this thing for probably forever. And if they didn't get Cooper, I mean, I can't even tell you how depressing this would be if they didn't have him, but they do have him. So there is going to be some hope at the end of the thing here. Did any of that make sense? Should it just be trade AD no matter what? I don't know. Anyway, have a good one, guys.